Hey, teacher and classmates. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to watch my video that I decided to make instead of a PowerPoint. I also apologize for my appearance. This is what radiation looks like. Gotta kill cancer somehow. Anyways, I have attached a cult classic video clip here. And my topic is about students with disabilities who are misrepresented in detention.
Good, because it's going to be filled. We'll keep going. You want another one? Say the word. Just say the word. Instead of going to prison, you'll come here. Are you through? No. I'm doing society a favor. So? That's another one right now. I've got you for the rest of your natural-born life if you don't watch your step. You want another one? Yes. You got it. You got another one right there. That's another one, pal.
Cut it out!
You through?
Not even close, bud.
Good. You got one more right there.
You really think I give a sh...
Another. You through?
How many is that?
That's 7, including the one when we first came in. You asked Mr. Vernon here whether Barry Manilow knew that he raided his closet.
Now it's 8. You stay out of it.
Excuse me, sir, it's 7.
Shut up, Pee-wee. You're mine, Bender. For 2 months, I got you. I got you.
What can I say? I'm thrilled.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what you want these people to believe. You know something, Bender? You ought to spend a little more time trying to do something with yourself and a little less time trying to impress people. You might be better off. Right, that's it. I'm gonna be right outside those doors. The next time I have to come in here, I'm cracking skulls. You're not fooling anybody, Bender. The next screw that falls out is gonna be you.
8 shorts.
What was that?
So thank you guys for watching that short clip of The Breakfast Club. And you can see that the main character is probably has some sort of something or another going on. And he just keeps asking and taunting his principal, like, no, like, you know, he just keeps going. He doesn't stop. And eventually he's kind of in Saturday school or detention for almost like the rest of the year. And that's something that I found at Abbott Middle School. You see, when I first started this journey, I was looking for misrepresentation of students with disabilities who are multicultural in special education. Well, it turns out at District U46, at Abbott Middle School, the general population at that particular middle school is Hispanic Latino. Well, by default, I win because, of course, there's going to be more non-Caucasian students in special education than there would be Caucasian students. But that's not good journalism, and that doesn't help anyone when, obviously, there's more Hispanic kids. So, after some thought and going to my observations for about 2 weeks, I found that there are more students who are with a disability in lunch detention than there are students without. And let me be clear, I understand fully that sometimes students with or without disabilities, there needs to be some kind of reprimand, some repercussions to show them that their behavior is just not okay. But when I took the time and sat next to several students, and in my paper I talk about 3 of them, Julian, Oscar, and Juan. They are made up names, but the students are real for confidentiality's sake. And all 3 of these students were with a disability: ADHD, dyslexia, anxiety. And When I sat down next to these students, I never pressed them. I never asked them, hey, why are you late to class all the time? No, never did that. But I did sit down next to them every day for about 2 weeks. And there was other students, but these were the 3 young gentlemen that really stuck out to me. And they were the ones who seemed to, I don't know, just they really touched me in a way that made me validate knowing that I'm doing the right thing here by becoming an educator. And one, the reason why he was late to his classes all the time was because he's a little bit overweight and he doesn't like changing in the locker rooms at school because he gets bullied and tormented, and he has such anxiety issues that of course he's late to his next period of class because that's just one. I mean, it gets into it more in the paper. And then Julian, he reminds me a lot of myself when I was a adolescent at the rival school, actually. And he volunteered information that he has ADHD, and a lot of times when he's at his locker, he feels this tremendous pressure on him to open up his locker and not mess it up. I mean, these lockers are old, they stick. There's a lot wrong with them. You know, you need like the Fonzie way. I know that's like totally like something my parents would have watched, but hey. Anyway, these kids, so the student has a hard time going to his locker, opening it, and then remembering what he needs to grab for his next classes. And yet these teachers and educators are like, well, you should know what you need by now, but that doesn't help when the student is trying to piece together his day-to-day. And I'm sorry, if you don't have a disability, or you're not with a disability, or you don't understand what it's like to be a person with ADHD, it can get very frustrating very quickly. So I believe, with the research I found from him, the reason why he's late all the time is simply because it's information overload. He's overstimulated in these overly crowded hallways, and he's trying to listen to the voice in his head that's saying, okay, now grab this book and grab this homework and do this. He's not a bad student, yet he is in detention indefinitely for the rest of the year. My other student, Oscar, sorry. I'm trying not to give away the real identity of his names. He is also a student with ADHD, and he's dyslexic, just like me. Anyway, it's not about me, Savannah, but seriously, he says every day he struggles opening up his locker. He is asked to use a padlock and key, but that's no. He's not allowed to do that, not allowed to make those accommodations. So every day he messes up his numbers with his lock. Now, if you don't fully understand dyslexia, imagine driving down this road, because this happens to me all the time. Again, I know it's not about me, but I'm just trying to explain for the sake of my paper here. But imagine driving down the road and you look up at the street, at the, oh my gosh, like the speed marker or, like the speed limit sign. There you go. And it says 52 miles per hour. That's what it's like to have numbers and dyslexia. The numbers are flipped. So imagine you have 4 minutes to get to class. You're sitting at your locker and you're typing 36, 24, 36. Well, all of a sudden you're flipping numbers around and you can't get your locker open. Now you're getting anxiety. Now you're flipping out, and guess what? Now you're late to class. I found these trends in almost all the students in lunch detention. They are not bad students. In fact, a lot of them are very smart, they're respectful, they're polite, they have just beautiful souls, and yet, if you read my paper, you'll find that the non-Latino teachers who are in the general education classes are very quick to refer these students, and the more referrals they have, the more detention they have. I ended up taking my research to the principal, saying, hey, because, and don't get me wrong, I didn't just like barge in there, hey, we have a problem here, but seriously, the principal really liked me. She has more of like an open door policy, and she wanted to actually hire me as a long-term sub. I ended up turning all that offer down because I ended up getting a job at a different school. But regardless, we built a nice relationship, and I had that conversation with her with what I've observed, and she told me that she was going ahead and she's going to look into it to make the change. Now, I haven't been able to follow through because this all happened kind of relatively, like the conclusion of my story here is still ongoing with the snowstorm that has happened, with the cancer treatment that I've had to get, and Thanksgiving break. I haven't had the opportunity to physically follow up and make sure that the teacher and the principal has done diligence here. However, that's not going to stop me. My theme of my paper overall is advocacy. It doesn't start anywhere particular, advocacy. As we've learned in Module 7, there's no real conclusion to this story either, because let's face it, students with disabilities, there will always be a challenge. There's always going to be a new policy, a new set of rules, politics. There's always going to be something that we as educators, we as friends of people with disabilities, that we're going to have to stand up for and just really come together and recognize that, sometimes things aren't always so black and white, and there is some room for some gray area. I hope this video makes a lot of sense. Thank you again so much for watching it and taking the time, and I hope you enjoy the Breakfast Club as much as I do. Thanks, guys.